team of all time, treble winners, Manchester City. Can you believe it? What a night in Istanbul.
And I just love those sounds from Takwa.
Yeah.
The brass band kind
brass
of thing.
band
With
and
the
the
frichwa,
drama.
frichwa.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The thing that does it.
Frichwa.
The fichwa.
That's when we used to.
Right.
If you were the morale raising type in.
You definitely
at
have it.
university.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, finally, Mediama.
My favorite is the Ododongpo.
Ododongpo, isn't it?
Ododongpo.
Boom, boom.
You are here again. Okay, now let's continue. Today is not Friday, but we've assembled our guys here. We'll be getting into that conversation. I just love game plan. Always look forward to Friday so I can listen.
I've been asking you to come on game plan for.
I will show up like an message of VAT Amendment Act 2022 Act 1082. All importers who qualify to register for VAT and have failed to do so will from Tuesday, the 6th of June 2023, be charged an additional 12.5% on the customs value of taxable goods they import. Now, the upfront payment is charged at importation on taxable goods imported in commercial quantities with a value of 200,000 Ghana cedis or more. And kindly note that the upfront payment is not a new tax. It is a compliance tool to encourage persons required to register for VAT to register and file tax returns in order to bring parity in the administration of VAT. An importer who makes the upfront payment may be allowed to recover the amount when they register and file their returns, as stated in Act 1082. We therefore entreat all importers who qualify to register for VAT to make arrangements to register at the nearest taxpayer service center to avoid the upfront payment. Kindly contact GRA on toll-free number 0800 900 110 or WhatsApp number 055299000 or 0200 631664. Send an email to info@gra.gov.gh for enquiries.
So we know that life is go, and that is, it makes it difficult to make time for the things that really count. So we won't let banking get in your way. That's why with Access Digital Channels, you can bank when, where, and how you want, so you can focus on what or who is important to you. Banking has never been easier. Transfer funds into your savings account, pay your old school union dues, and your DSTV subscription, and many more with a click on your phone. Get things done simply with Access Digital Channels. That's Africanacity. That's APSA. Terms and conditions apply. Visit apsa.com.gh for further details.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
this is what qualifies you to become a Ghanaian.
No, okay, that wasn't the question, but okay.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, because I'm sure before the British changed their law, because at first when you're born somewhere, then you have citizenship.
Yeah.
Then Margaret Thatcher came and changed it to even if you're born in the UK, if one parent or grandparent is not British, then you cannot
okay, I
be
get it
British. So
now.
I'm feeling like, okay, so then we followed that
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
But look, before we get into the conversation, Professor, look, someone sends me this message that says Madrid won 14 UCL trophies, unprecedented 3 in a row, and are not the best of all time. Ignore the commentator who lost his mind in a moment of uncontrolled ecstasy. And this is with no name. Says, look,
He doesn't want people to come for him.
football, you don't go.
Basically,
You don't go mentioning your name
don't mention
when
your
it gets to
name,
some of
alright.
these things, because if you do, Charlie.
They'll come
Anyway,
for you.
look, let's get into
Is
sports
he
now.
talking about the team or is talking about the manager? who
manager.
did
The
it?
team, that Madrid team that did it 3 times is what he's talking about. I mean, a lot of the players were in there, but let's continue, because this weekend was one of crowning moments and heralding new champions in Ghana and abroad. Well, the Ghana Premier League has ended. It completed its 34th match day on Sunday, and there were winners and losers. And there were in-betweeners, if you could put it that way. For the first time, Takwa-based team Midiema are champions. Now, they have come close to winning the title several times, and this season is a crowning effort for all their previous attempts. Our sports team is here to explain the very peculiar circumstances under which these near misses came. And also this weekend was the crowning of Manchester City as champions of European football for the first time. They too have sought this moment for more than a decade and have spent more than $1 billion in pursuit of their dream. And who they did it in style, winning the English FA Cup and the Premier League thanks to Arsenal, on the way to claiming a historic treble. Very few teams are able to do this. In fact, the feat is so rare that a coach who does this goes straight into the pantheon of great, reserved for only a select few. Well, let me also remind you that the Multimedia Group held a big viewing experience for the grand finale at the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2023 at the Aviation Social Center. And we have the guys here to talk about that too. Gary Al Smith, good morning.
Morning.
Afro Fent, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Morning. How are
I know
you?
that Sicho is joining us, on Zoom. Good morning to you, Sicho.
Hello, guys. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
We are doing very, very, very well. And thanks to all of you for making time to join us here. We need to, feel the vibe from the Ghana Premier League. Let's get a vibe from the Ghana Premier League
The
after
instruments,
Midiema won the championship.
Charlie, Takwa was the place to be.
I tell you. Okay, so that's those are sounds from Takwa and Midiema.
Where apparently on Sunday after 5 p.m. everything was free.
Oh yes,
Everything was
Oh,
free.
look, it's one thing that we've waited for a long time. When I say we, all of us from the Western region, Success has a lot of friends.
I tell you, man.
All of a sudden,
Everything was
all of
free.
us,
And I
all of
mean,
us,
everything was
we've waited for this for a very long time.
yeah.
I mean, I saw supporters of Sekendi 11 Wise, Sekendi Hazakers, Sky FC, all going to Takwa just to go and support Midiema, which actually means my sibling. I mean, many of us have said my brother, but in Midiema, just like in Akani, you say Minia. You say Minia. Well, I can say Minia.
So brother,
but,
sister, cousin,
Minia.
yeah.
So
So
Midiema.
Midiema means Minya.
Minia, my
Yeah,
sibling.
my
yes.
sibling,
But some
my
have, a lot
brother.
of people have actually made it look like my brother, and that's what many of us have. I got a message from my brother who speaks in Zuma that that's not what it means, and I realized other people were sending messages also. So let me start off with you, Fentu.
Yeah.
What were your predictions at the beginning of the season? Were those predictions result at the end of the season when it comes to the Ghana Premier League?
No, absolutely not. And I probably should have known better, to be honest, because it was a season where I thought Kumasi Asante Kotoko had put themselves in a position to defend the title. They came into this season as champions. They hired a new coach from Burkina Faso, Zebo. They brought in some new players here and there, and it looked general.
Ugandan guy who forgot his Bible.
Stop that. But overall, I think I have been very, very happily surprised by the success of Mideama Sporting Club. This wasn't one of those seasons where you could stick your neck out and say the best team in the Ghana Premier League won the title. But it's a season where you can say this team, this Mideama team, have been by and large the most consistent team in the Ghana Premier League and deserve this title. And I always say that, you can only beat what is in front of you, the teams that are in front of you. Mideama put themselves in a position where whenever the leaders slipped up, they were there to take advantage. And if they didn't have themselves in such position, they would never have been in a position to win the title.
Mideama, at a point, Ediana was leading.
Not at a point. Ediana led the league table for 85% of the season.
I thought they were going to win.
And then they just slipped off. And they had a really good team, very experienced team. And they have a very experienced coach as well in Parkwesi Fabian. But for some reason, things just started to go tragically awry when they started to have all those issues with their home fans beating up supporters and players of other teams. They attacked supporters and players of RTU, then Tamale City, and they were banned for a couple of matches. They went to Cape Coast. So it kind of destabilized the team.
And then they had an Arsenal moment where they inexplicably could not
even
win.
Put a run together.
Let me find out from Gary. What were your predictions also? Fenjo, I'll get back to you. What were your predictions?
Evidence-based. And before, like I said on Game Plan, this, ironically, is the first time in 4 seasons I have predicted that Mideama will not win. The past 4 seasons, I've always said Mideama will win the season. The season that
The one time.
That's the
I
thing.
put them in 3rd. And I put Kotoko in 2nd and Heart of Oak 1st. Because of, last season's, and I that Kotoko were not quite ready to put in a title-winning performance. But Heart of Oak were. But, how tragically wrong I was. So I put Mideama in 3rd and Bechem United in 4th.
Okay.
Bechem United, everybody knew they were going to finish in the top 4 because they've been going there and thereabout. Just unfortunate that the club is not interested in winning the Ghana Premier League. Otherwise, they would put in a certain effort that would make them serious contender. But to be fair, up to the last day of the league season, Bechem United could have won the Ghana Premier League.
They could have.
Let me bring Cicho in at this point and find out from whether he saw the team from the West beating everyone to the title at the beginning of the season. Cicho.
No, I didn't. I don't think even Mideama themselves thought this season was going to be their year. And as Fentiu said, they grabbed the opportunities when it came. When teams above them slipped, they were there to pounce. Because I agree with Fentiu. I thought Kotoko could have maybe then defended their title. Because last season, they were by far the better side.
Yeah.
Yes, Ogum left, Zebo came. But I thought, based on the experience they had from last season, they could make proper recruitment. But when the season started, it was quite clear that the recruitment they made wasn't replaceable. They couldn't replace the players that left, and they didn't make the right recruitment in the end. Hartlepool never impressed me in that period as well, in the summer or in the transfer market as well. So I thought it was going to be Kotoko all the way. But they had their own problems. Ediana Stars led the table until, they flopped it. And then, as we said, Mideama were £2. So credit to them.
Great. So, Gary, let me find out. Because I've been following the reports. In 2018, they were very close. Mideama is that team that sometimes gets very close and never wins it.
Yeah.
The question is, was it that they were just not good enough, or maybe a bit of luck eluded them? Because just as Fenchu has made the point today, it looks like Ediana had their Arsenal moment, and Mideama was just lurking around.
Ediana just did a Manchester City where they said, you don't want the thing, then give it to me and let me take it. So there was a time a few years ago when people started seriously calling Mideama in the local parlance the Bylock, Bylock club, because anytime, and just to give some context, they buy smartly. their owners and those behind the team have some money, but they don't buy indiscriminately. Basically, anybody who is flavor of the month, then they buy smartly. There's a method to their madness, and it has shown in the last couple of years. They get to the top of the league, they look like they are going to have an incredible run, then something like the announced documentary pops up, and so they can't win. The league has to stop. Then COVID came as well.
Wow.
Then on another occasion, something else I can't readily recall happened, and so they slipped, and then that was it. There was a break. There was a break because of some court injunction or something like that, and so they couldn't win as well. So they've always been there and thereabout. But even when they
the last one was actually the COVID itself.
Yeah, the COVID itself.
So
Whenever it seemed like they were going to put something together,
Something happened.
yeah, something happened. But they've always kept faith, and that's what I think that the owner of the team, Moses Ama, aka Muspaka, has always been saying, that they've been buying smartly. The team was previously called Kesben FC.
Yeah.
It was owned by Kwabena Kese.
Yeah.
The media mogul and the businessman, Kumasi-based businessman, and then he sold the team to Moses Ama. The venue, the location of the club was changed, taken to the Western region, and credit to them. You see, it's very difficult, as you know, in football or in any of the other sports, when you buy a team from a certain area and take them somewhere else, because you cannot easily manufacture organic support.
Yeah.
But they've been able to do that primarily because of the lack of teams from the Western area in the Ghana Premier League. So 11-wise have not been a force for a while. Second-year Zakers have not been a force. So people in that part of the country have had to rally, and they have also done a good job of not alienating them. I mean, they have always made themselves as part of the people. They have invested heavily into the club, and so, for example, next season, one of the top mining companies in this country are going to complete what we understand is a quite expensive ground. What was how many supporters again?
15,000.
15,000 supporter ground, and that's what they are going to use for their campaign in Africa. So they have sort of ingratiated themselves into the community, and that's what's been very good for them as well. So yeah, it's been a run of bad luck, but sometimes all the bad luck comes to an end.
And I tell you what, Gary, making that point about moving the team, Muspaka owns Wasserman United.
Wasserman as well, yes.
So Wasserman United, Wasserman was the one that was actually being pushed into the Premier League. And when they missed out at the time, he got Kesben.
Yeah.
Wasserman subsequently gets into the Premier League. And Wasserman, because it's in Takwa, is Wasserman. But then when he bought Kesben, names in Midjema, that's in Zuma. But you're right. The man enjoys a lot of support. He's a good man in the region. Yeah. People love him. And if you find out even the support that Midjema enjoys in the Nzima area, the name itself would tell you.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think he got a lot of things right.
Yeah, and you see, and it was helped by the fact that before the start of this season, Moses Ama Parker was actually forced to cede 50% of the club's ownership to the community. Yeah. So it is no longer a sole proprietorship.
That's great.
So that in itself, and that was actually motivated by the sponsorship agreement they had with Goldfields. Because Goldfields they have a mine in Takwa, Daman, of course, and they entered into a sponsorship agreement with Midjema in 2021, so 2 years ago. That sponsorship deal was worth some $300,000 per season. And that was a lot of money. Yeah. And apart from that, they also committed to constructing that $60 million stadium at the venue of the TNA Park. That's where they're constructing that stadium. 10,000, that can be increased to 15,000. So the mines are making a huge investment in the community and in the football club. They've seen the football club as a tool to give back to the community. And you talk about the attachment, and that is exactly what the mines have forced them to do. So at the start of this season, when they entered into that sponsorship agreement and they started to pay the monies, they conducted an audit and realized that the money wasn't necessarily directly going back to the community the way they wanted it. So, they had to speak to Moses, and he was understandable because he didn't set up this football club purely for personal gains. He set it up himself because he's a very successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, he
so
is.
he set it up so he can give back to his own community. And so at the start of this season, they made a decision to cede some part of the club to the community. And that's exactly why now the attachment to that football club is huge. And by and large, since 1977, no club in the Western region has won the Ghana Premier League. That's a whopping 46 years. And that's what Gary spoke about, the fact that there is a lack of teams from the Western region in the Ghana Premier League. And even when they have come, they have barely lasted. But now Midiama have been a consistent feature, and they have developed a certain style that has endeared them to many people. They won the FA Cup in 2013. They did it again in 2015. They competed in Africa. Their first swan song, they got kicked out. The second attempt, Midiama were in the group stages of the CAF Confederation Cup.
Great.
So it's a club that knows how to rebuild every single season and continue to be at the top.
Well, let me bring Sicho in at this point and probably find out, for Hearts of Folks and Kotoko, we are all happy. I mean, as a Kotoko, but I'm very happy after all Hearts of Folk didn't win. But I think for many of you and for many of fans, it will be a season to forget, isn't it? For the two clubs.
It will be. It will be a season to forget, especially for Hearts of Folk who going into the last game of the season where, mathematically, possibly could have been relegated mathematically. We knew it was going to be difficult. But a team that won the league only 2 years ago, it didn't make any sense or whatsoever that they found themselves in the position in which they did find themselves. And we've always spoken about what Hearts of Folk have been doing in more recent years. When they won the league and when they won the double or the treble under Boadu, people didn't give Boadu the credit he deserved. But that was a club that had gone 11 years without winning it. And Boadu comes in and he won it. And that's the thing that Gary has said, Fenty has said it. In the 2 years that Midiama were unlucky because there was an expose and the league had to be cancelled, and there was COVID and the league had to be truncated, Midiama's coach, who kept them at the top at that time, was Samuel Boadu. So Hearts of Folk made a very smart move to go and grab Samuel Boadu. Once he came through the door at Hearts of Folk, the season that followed post-COVID, he won the league for them, he won the FA Cup for them, and then the second season, he won the FA Cup for them again. Then Boadu leaves. Hearts of Folk couldn't replace some of the players that Boadu used and brought in players that they just didn't fit the club's level and pedigree. So we could see that downgrade in quality at Hearts of Folk. With the greatest respect to those players that we've seen Hearts of Folk completely make very bad signings and very bad decisions. Many of their players will leave without the club earning a penny. Compare that to Kotoko. Kotoko have sold players for some good money. Tudo has left for money. Ibrahim Moro has left for money. Not for Hearts of Folk. Daniel left the club. Afutu left the club. Neti left the club. And Sabochi left the club. These were title winners for the club. And they couldn't make money from them to reinvest it. And then that was a problem. For Kotoko, I think the issue has to do with the power play at the club, where we understand at the start of the season, the manager who won the league for them was Prosper Ogum, was looking for certain level of players. But management also felt, if we believe some of the rumors, management also felt that they were in charge of building the team. And I think there's a balance in there. Management and the coaches need to come together to build a team. No one person can necessarily claim all that responsibility. And once the political, tension was beginning to surface at Kotoko, it was always going to affect their output on the pitch in 90 minutes. And in the end, they didn't finish in places where they thought they would, or they didn't even compete at all. So for those two clubs, I think they need to refocus. They need to do things a lot better because other clubs are catching up very fast.
Great. Guys, we need to be wrapping up the conversation on the Ghana Premier League because we also have to talk about the Champions League. But let's talk about fan patronage because we know that you guys have been doing some research into why people don't like attending, the Ghana Premier League games and the way forward. How far with that? Has anything changed, Gary?
Well, nothing has changed since the start of the year, and the campaign was really started by our colleagues at Inshira FM. Just to this time not to use our heads and what we think we know from experiential knowledge, but to actually put a professionally done work out there and then say that this is what scientifically we've been able to. So with Inshira leading the way, all of us got on board in a multimedia agreement. In fact, right after the World Cup, when there was a shortage of topics to talk about, and the Ghana Premier League started, because it was so obvious that, big games, that you're having 200 people at the Baba Yara Stadium. Wow. 300 people. 2 weeks ago, there was top of the league, a top liner in the Ghana Premier League. Just about 3 weeks ago, 834 people went to watch it in Kumasi. So they used about 6 weeks to get the perspectives of the various personalities involved from all day. When they finished, they teased out questions and put it out in a questionnaire, which we've then put out on radio in Accra, Kumasi, and everywhere, and it's on digital media for anybody. It's open to anybody to fill. So the link, just to put it out there, is bit.ly/GPL questionnaire. bit.ly/GPL questionnaire. What's the aim? We want to get as many answers as possible, tease out the details of why people are not going to the stadium, what they want to see, and then present it as a scientific work to the Ghana Football Association. That it's not that we are sitting on radio, we are just talking. Then we give it to them, and then hopefully the season has just ended. Season starts August. We can have something scientific so that we can turn it out. Because you see, think about football leagues, as we know, for anybody who's traveled, and even those who are old enough to remember the halcyon days in Ghana, where going to the stadium not just was good for the local community, it was good for the local economy. Everywhere it was, it was good for, if you look at our friends in Saudi Arabia and what they are doing now, they are pumping money into football because the population of Saudi Arabia right now, 70% of it is under the age of 35. So it's a public health emergency. Obesity is still a problem in Ghana. If we can get people going to the stadium, you can't bet that we can use it for public health as well. So that's where we are with that campaign.
And you see,
I need to go, but quickly on this one.
Hold
on a second.
We need to talk about this.
Hold on a second.
Gary mentioned investment.
Hold on. I want you to do something for me. For those who don't know the teams that have been relegated, tell us those teams.
Wow.
What a way.
No problem. Kotoku Royals were the first team to be relegated. Achim Kotoku Royals. Very unfortunate. Their very first season in the Ghana Premier League, they've gone back to Division 1. They had some problems, one of it being that their venue was not approved for the Ghana Premier League season. So, because of club licensing, it wasn't just good enough for Ghana Premier League. So they had to adapt multiple venues. They use Cape Coast, they use Dawu as well, Dreams FC's home ground. So there was never stability there. So understandably, they've gone back to Division 1. The other team relegated was King Faisal Football Club. They were the second team to be relegated. And King Faisal went through 3 different coaches this season and somehow still didn't survive. They started with Coach Amisa, then Ablode came in, and then they finished the season with Ignatius, who got 1 draw against Kotoko, and things fell apart. So, and it's not gone well for them, this campaign, King Faisal. And Alhaji Griza actually said that he thought that GFA were scheming to have his club relegated. And the reason he said that was because he filed a protest against Tamale City, another team that has been relegated from the Ghana Premier League. And he said when they played them in Tamale, Tamale City fielded an unqualified player and that the player had double registration. So the matter went to the disciplinary committee. The committee ruled that King Faisal didn't have a case. King Faisal went to appeal the matter at the appeals committee. And Alhaji Griza went on radio to say that they didn't do justice to the case. And he said he was targeted. They wanted to scheme and relegate his club. So right now, Winston, as we speak, potentially, King Faisal, depending on what happens with the appeals committee sitting, and they're sitting on the case tomorrow, Wednesday, depending on what happens there, the Ghana Premier League could be thrown into complete chaos. That's why I said we can't take a break. Because, and these are the things we keep talking about, all right, administrative competence. Okay, you cannot have a Ghana Premier League season conclude while there are outstanding legal issues.
Okay.
So, for example, if King Faisal win that appeal, they get 3 points off that game against Tamale City. Tamale City are already relegated, so no consequence there. But King Faisal get 3 points. 3 points that will shoot them up to 45 points. 45 points would take them level with Great Olympics, who survive relegation. However, King Faisal have a better head-to-head than Great Olympics. That would mean Great Olympics get relegated, King Faisal go up. You think Great Olympics would agree and let that happen? So you see, but this should have been decided before the end of the season.
And that's why fans will not go to the stadium.
And, and these are the issues.
I get you.
And before the start of the season, the league was held for almost 1 month, if I'm not mistaken, or 5 weeks, because Ashanti Gold took the entire FA and the Ghana Premier League to court because they started the league without him.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I get you.
That's one. We finished the Ghana Premier League. We're sending teams to Africa. Mediama Sporting Club go and play in the CAF Champions League. You watched the CAF Champions League yesterday. On Sunday. You saw the level of the clubs that play there. Al Ahly won the trophy, 11th record win. When Kotoko won their second title in 1983, Al Ahly had 1 title.
Yes, you are right.
Yes, hold on. Now, Al Ahly are a club that is signing. They're signing players from the Premier League.
You know what we're going to do now?
They signed Percy Tau, a South African who was playing for Brighton. They went to England, took the player, brought him to Egypt. He's helped them win. You see, and his coach, Mosmani, who was South African, left to go to Saudi Arabia. The player didn't leave. He stayed. So the club had more power than any individual, more money. And now look at where they found themselves. They've won a record title. When your Ghana Premier League champions were declared on Sunday and Kete Kroku handed them the trophy, they also got a check for $26,000 for your efforts, 34 matches. Do you know how many people work for an individual football club? Throughout the whole season, 1 full year of work, $26,000 as prize money.
Fentu.
At the World Cup.
Hold on 1 minute for me. Hold on.
Every individual.
Hold on. In fact, if I don't come in at this point, we can't go for the break. So you hold on. Ceasefire. Let me go for the break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. But folks, let's get interactive on Twitter. Use the hashtag JoySMS. We'll be right back.
You do know that you cannot always do things the same way and expect different results, right? How about changing your strategy and giving your team members a different perspective to life? Do things differently. Conduct your next corporate meetings, conferences, and workshops at sea on a cruise ship whilst cruising to breathtaking destinations. Your participants will love it, and you'll be amazed at their level of commitment, productivity, and ultimately, you get to save a lot. As they say, happy workers, happy results. Motivate and reward your agents, affiliates, and staff with an all-inclusive cruise package to the Mediterranean, Southern Africa, Greek islands, and the Persian Gulf. For inquiries, call your cruise people on 0308 251 055 or visit yourcruisepeople.com.
We shouldn't have gone to that party.
Masa, my head is killing me.
Is that your stomach?
Yes.
What did you eat?
I don't know.
Get rid of your gastric problems with number 10 liver salt. Number 10 gives you quick, effective relief from nausea, indigestion, heartburns, hangovers, and hyperacidity. And with different fruity flavors such as orange and lemon, it's a pretty tasty way to end an uncomfortable situation. Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemist, because everyone needs a chemist.
This advert has been vetted and approved by FDA. Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hi, Mr. Dazi. 4 of your Jumia packages are ready for pickup.
Jumia, we are good. I go take this Jumia anniversary chop party and kasa.
Make sure some washing machine about
Daddy, and my smartwatch.
My dears, no worries. All our items are ready for pickup.
Yeah.
Jumia anniversary sale is live from 14th to 30th June. Shop what you need and love. And party with special Jumia anniversary deals and true convenience. Jumia, your everyday delivered.
Charlie, so it's actually raining and we can't hear any sound. As for this your house, when it's raining, no sound. When the sun is up, the interior is cool. What roof are you using?
and they use Ico roofing shingles from Interface Limited. Long lasting and beautiful.
Ico roofing shingles. We all for move to Interface and get this Ico roofing shingles.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274 999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook Interface Limited GH. Instagram Interface.limited.
It does get better anytime your favorite shop, Melcom, says it did for you and got you covered with all your daily need items. Continue shopping on products ranging from groceries, stationery, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, electricals, and many more at low prices. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
There it is! The best team in Europe! Maybe the best team of all time! Treble winners! Manchester City! Can you believe it? What a night in Istanbul!
No more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more.
Right, so welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll continue shortly and get into the UEFA Champions League, but first I'd allow, Fentio to. Yes, Fentio.
Closing argument, you say. Closing fire.
Let me welcome our listeners who are listening to the conversation in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Thank you very much for joining us. But look, it's your time to enjoy the Royal Foam mattress at an affordable rate. Things are really hard and prices of goods and services are increasing every day. But look, and that's why Royal Foam is bringing to you a sales promotion that won't suwumreni. They say it's your time to enjoy a 10% discount off the current prices on their mattresses. Yes, 10% discount on our mattresses with free pillows in addition. So rush to all Royal Foam shops and get a 10% discount on every mattress purchased and enjoy our free pillows as well. Call us on 020-227-1000 for more information. Royal Foam, rest assured.
It's that time of the day to order some tasty grilled chicken with fried rice. The best of its kind. Enjoy the aroma of carefully selected fresh ingredients. Feel the love in every bite of excellently savored and sizzled food if you're working in Accra or Tema. Call Lunch Avenue on 0558-502-206 to order fresh home-cooked and nutritious meals. Lunch Avenue, tasty, yummy, and healthy.
Great, thank you.
Over to you.
Finish, and then we'll continue.
No, so I was just saying that we have to just get our priorities right, because the constant complaining that there is no money, it's getting quite a bit boring. Because I can see that there is money. We just haven't decided that the Ghana Premier League is the right place to spend that money. Okay, and for me that's my frustration. The problems with the Ghana Premier League are numerous. They are huge. There's so many. The clubs have their own responsibilities. The FA and everybody that is involved, even sponsors, stakeholders that are involved in the Ghana Premier League, all have roles to play in why our league is where it is today. And it's certainly not impressive. However, the FA itself have not done themselves any favors with what kind of investment they've made into the Ghana Premier League, even with the little money that they have. So I was making the point about the prize money. How do you hand $26,000 to a club for winning the Ghana Premier League table and then go to a FIFA World Cup where a management committee member, individual, is given $100,000. So it means that for a club to get $100,000, they will need to win the league 4 times. 4 years in a row to get $100,000.
That's the whole club. That's not even individual.
That's the whole club. For your Premier League champions, the top division. It's embarrassing. That's my point. You see, if you say we don't have money, if we say we don't have money, then we cannot understand that we don't have money. But if you can't come to the Ghana Premier League and say we don't have money, but when it comes to the Black Stars, you have money to share to individuals, not even the team or the players for that matter. It's unquestionable. And for me, that's why I will never be on the side of the FA when it comes to these issues. We need to learn to set our priorities right. And whatever be the case, if our local league doesn't thrive, whatever happens with the Black Stars, nobody would care. The Ghana Premier League is the true representation of our football. And we need to invest there. And it's not just the FA. Even the government has to do it. Because I know that over the years, even the FA has been chasing the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports to try and put some investment into the Ghana Premier League instead of chasing sponsors all the time. Because the sponsors and it's a vice versa situation.
But FA actually puts all its money in the Black Stars. That's not performing.
But you see, the money that goes to the Black Stars is not from the FA. And that's why I mentioned the government. It's from the government.
Yeah.
You understand? So everybody sees the Black Stars as I don't even think it's a cash cow. Because it eats the cash, it doesn't bring the cash. What is that one? So it's like a dog. So you basically are just giving and giving and giving, and it's eating everything. And I'm not sure exactly what we're getting back. The Ghana Premier League is the biggest employer in the Ghanaian football ecosystem. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's a professional league. The players have contracts. They feed their families through that. So it's a massive economy there. And the earlier we see the opportunities that exist in the Ghana Premier League and invest appropriately, the better for all of us. And let's stop this attitude of always sitting back and then handing peanuts to our clubs and expecting that they'll go and do wonders. We all keep complaining about why we're having our clubs can't even get into the group stages of the CAF Champions League. The reason is investment. Even across the border to Nigeria, just here, Enyimba just won the title last weekend. They got $250,000 for their efforts. That is significant. You understand? But you can't give somebody $25,000, $26,000 for now. You Winston, what's your annual salary?
Don't go there.
That's where the matter has reached.
Is that where you have reached with the matter? Let's continue. Let's continue and talk about football. Let's talk about football now.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that fire on the Ghana Premier League. So let's get to the UEFA Champions League.
There's more fire on Game Plan on Friday. 1:15 p.m.
Sharp. And look, I mean it's undeniable that Man City plays good football. So the question will be, why is there so much jealousy about them winning something they've worked so hard for? And I'm going to be bringing, Martin Keown, who claims that Manchester United won their treble in 1999 and that it was more impressive than what City have just done. Let's hear Martin Keown. Okay, I think we don't. Do we have the sound? Okay, let's just hear Martin Keown making that point about Manchester United's victory being more impressive. Let's listen to him.
I don't want to lay claim to the successes of the previous treble, which was 99, Manchester United, but I'm pretty certain that domestic rivalry brings out the best in you and makes you go to another level. Now, Man City were somewhat behind Arsenal, looked like Arsenal were just incredible in the league, and it fell away for Arsenal, but in a way, maybe it got Man City to change gear, got Pep to get even better, got him to look at playing Stones in a midfield role, which he wasn't playing, was he, before the World Cup? After the World Cup, everything changed. Changed. So they kind of slid into another gear, and you do have to have that domestic rivalry. I think Liverpool have fallen away a little bit in recent times. I think actually maybe what Manchester United did to compare with Arsenal having won the double just the year before, maybe it was even more of an achievement for Manchester United because domestically it was more difficult then. And just 3 years later, Jim, we won another double. So they were in and around a team that was really pushing them on their own doorstep, Manchester United. Whereas Man City, once Arsenal fell over, it was pretty easy for them to do what they do. But I do feel this is just at the beginning. This is at the beginning of what they have. When I look at the quality of their squad, and you know he's going to buy again, and he knows he's looking over his shoulder. He's got that bang. It's in the cabinet. It's in the cabinet. Off we go.
Super Morning Show.
Great. So that's Martin Keown there. Let me start this one with Sicho. Sicho, so is it a case that people are jealous or Man City is just overrated?
No, listen, I don't think City are overrated, but I think that at some point the dynamics of how these two teams won the treble is a fair comparison. It's a fair analysis to make, because City have been great and City have been building up to this for a while. But as Martin Keown said, and I've had this opinion for a very, very long time. I think I mentioned it on Game Plan when we're discussing Pep Guardiola, Alex Ferguson.
Sure.
That the eras are completely different, and I'm of the view that these days there aren't many elite teams competing for these laurels. So in the Premier League, the standards are different now. The standards are no more at the level where it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you could have 3-4 teams chasing the title. Think about it. When was the last time we had a 3-horse race Premier League, chase, or 4 teams competing for the Premier League title? In the last 5 years or so, it's always been 2 teams, or 1 team blowing everything, or everybody apart, or everybody away. And in the Champions League, in more recent years, in the last 5 years or so, Barcelona have not been good. PSG, they've never won it before. They've been just lurking. Liverpool have been there. Real Madrid have been there. But when the AC Milan are not the same AC Milan, Inter Milan are not the same Inter Milan, there's no Juventus. But when you take it back to 1999, it was completely different. It was completely different. And that's why people who saw football at that time can compare football at that time to this era and begin to say that, yeah, the achievement might be the same in terms of laurels that have been won, but the competition, the levels of competitions are quite different. And when you look at Man United, in the season where they won the Champions League, in that Champions League, they were in the same group with Bayern Munich. They were in the same group with Barcelona and I think Brøndby. They were in the group, Bayern topped the group in that year. And when Man United went on, they had to beat Juventus, who, by the way, had been to the final right before, that 99 season as well. So they were just very, very strong teams at the time. And for Man City, the argument is Pep Guardiola has had to spend a lot of money to build this team. And that has been his core. But the core of that Man United team that went on to win that treble were players that Sir Alex Ferguson himself formed or molded from the Man United academy.
But in that team, Sicho, in that team, you had Dwight York, you had Andy Cole, you had Teddy Sheringham, you had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
These were players that Sir Alex Ferguson bought.
So did you have Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, David Beckham. So did you have Nicky Bass.
Yeah, but Paul Scholes didn't play in that final. He was suspended.
I'm talking about the season. I'm not talking about the final. I'm looking
right.
at the season and the team that he built from 92 to that point. So a core of that team, and don't get me wrong, Sir Alex Ferguson fought well to actually blend the youth and experience. So you look at that Man United team and looking at Sir Alex Ferguson's image in that side. Credit to Pep Guardiola, of course, eras are different. He's had to buy some decent players and turn them into world class. So he deserves that credit. So for me, credit is due to Man City, but it can also go into the dynamics of how these two teams won the trophy. And again, when you look at that FA Cup, that season, that FA Cup, Man United had to beat Chelsea, not the modern Chelsea we know, but they had to beat Chelsea, who were actually good in cups around that same time. People forget it. They had to beat Arsenal in the semi-final over 2 legs, and then they had to go into the final to beat Newcastle, who were, at the time, the third or the second strongest team behind Arsenal or in and around Arsenal in the season. So United had a very difficult season. And the more reason why it's memorable for many people is that there wasn't a single game in the semi-final, quarter-final, or final that United didn't have to perform a miracle to win. They won the league virtually on the last day. In the FA Cup final was a difficult. The way they beat Arsenal was a miracle, memorable. The way they beat Bayern Munich was a miracle, memorable, because all those fixtures were that close. The same can be said about the City team in this era, where if Liverpool didn't compete.
And Paul Merson, impressive, because Manchester United in 1999 was the almost team. Arsenal lost it. And they almost lost it to Bayern Munich in the final. Yeah. And so you cannot be looking at a Manchester United in 1999 and say they were better than Man City, because it was like, oh, they almost lost it, and then they got it, around it. What do you say to that?
You see, for me, I don't necessarily think. First of all, I think that it is a myth for anybody to try to suggest and try to even go a step further to try and convince us that Man United won that treble with academy players. There were academy players in the team, yes. Man City also had academy players in the team. Man United, for the majority of that season, their most important players were players that they had purchased with record money. In that season, you mentioned Teddy Sheringham. They bought him from Spurs. Andy Cole was a record goal scorer. His strike partner,
Dwight York.
Dwight York, same. Yap Stam in defense. So it wasn't...
They had bought smartly.
Yes. You know, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you mentioned him. Look at that attack. Not a single member of that attack. The centre backs the same. I'm the same. Yap Stam. Schmeichel. They didn't groom them from the Man United academy. They had some academy players. That is true. But it's a myth to think that he went all the way to win the title with academy players. That's, for me, I disagree.
The argument has been that, and Sicho makes the point, when I asked him, when I make that similar point, that the argument is that the squad, so you're looking at the squad.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at Arian Giggs. You're looking at a Gary Neville. You're looking at a Paul Scholes. You're looking at a David Beckham. You're looking at a Phil Neville. You're looking like a Nicky Butt. And they say these players played major role at some point
Obviously.
in the lead up to the treble.
True.
And these were the class of 1992. And that's why there's always reference to the class of 1992, because David Beckham was there, Ryan Giggs was there, Gary Neville was there, but for his suspension, Paul Scholes would have played.
Nicky Butt. So
Nicky
I'm
Butt,
saying that there were some homegrown players, but I completely disagree with anybody that wants to suggest that he entirely went to win the treble with academy players. That is a complete myth. Okay, for me, this is what I personally think. I think Manchester City have been unfairly criticized because they have somehow found themselves in a position where many clubs would have hoped that they found themselves in. As we speak today, Man United fans every single day are on social media. They're salivating over the fact that, or the potential that their club could be taken over by a Saudi billionaire. Every Man United... Qatari billionaire.
Yes.
No, Saudi billionaire. Qatari billionaire. It doesn't matter.
We want
the point is...
They just want somebody from the goal.
That's the point. You see, so the same very thing that United fans are criticizing is what their fans are salivating and desperately praying for. So that's why I feel there is a tinge of jealousy for what Man City have. But the truth is that there are other clubs that on paper even have more money than Manchester City, but they haven't achieved what Man City have achieved. And that's why you need to credit Pep Guardiola and his Man City team for what they have done. PSG have more money than Manchester City on paper. They have bought more players with more money. They don't have the same team that Man City have. Man United consistently for the past 15 years have been one of the richest clubs in the world. They may not be sponsored by an Arab or a country, but United have money. They haven't won as much as Manchester City. They don't even play the football that Man City have played. And that's why I honestly think that Manchester City, I think at the moment, are the best football club in the world, in that they are the best run team. They have money, but they've made sure that the structures work. Manchester City's system, it's so perfect. They have never had any season where you would go and think Manchester City have been dreadful. Look at Pep Guardiola, the way he has replaced players. Since Guardiola walked into Manchester City, Silva has left, Toure has left, Kompany has left, and they have replaced every single one of these players with players that are even better. Fernandinho has left. So I judge a manager's greatness and a club's well-run status by three things. One, I'm looking at how many trophies Pep Guardiola has won since he took over this club. He's won pretty much everything there is to win. Sir Alex Ferguson won the same things at Manchester United. But let's look at the second measure. Philosophy. How did you inspire a style of football? Before Pep Guardiola took over Barcelona in 2008, there was a style of football that was premised on defensive solidity and breaking fast. And that's how AC Milan played. Italians defined that system. It was called Catenaccio. Okay, Sir Alex Ferguson's teams basically triumphed on being a team that could defend very well and break quickly. Jose Mourinho came to Chelsea. That's how he won the Premier League. Counter-attacking football, defensive solidity. Pep Guardiola was the first manager to see defense as not necessarily a way of shutting shop, but the starting point of attack. And that is a definition of philosophy. He's a philosophical manager. He changed the way teams play. And today, there's so many managers whose style of football are inspired by Pep Guardiola.
But the counter-attacking football is also you starting the attack from the defense.
I think we know what Fento means.
No, but I'm just
there are two different things.
Hold on.
One is quick break, one is patient build-up.
But you see, I mean, to be very fair, that style of football was there.
I mean, Cruyff, Lewandowski.
I mean, the Rijkaard of 2006 when they were. That's how they were playing. So let's not make it.
No, I think the point
is everything anybody said
or
does, you can say no. But you see, there are people that make things better.
That's a Cruyff-like philosophy. That's it.
But he
Pep, the way Pep plays is not the same way Cruyff played.
He has improved it.
The fundamentals are the same.
So that's it.
But the system
bring in Gary.
You see, Winston.
Let me bring in Gary at this. Gary has to make a point.
Can I say something? Yes. I think when Fento was starting, he talked about the fact that there are a lot of Man United fans who are jealous. I think case in point.
Thank you.
Let me get to Gary. No, I have asked when Sicho was making the point for me, I challenged him with your argument. So I'm challenging you too with the argument that others have made.
Yeah, but challenge.
So let me bring in Gary in at this point. Gary, now, when Zidane did it in 2016, he went on to win 2 additional titles. Is this the beginning of the Man City dominance by Pep Guardiola, bearing in mind that he says he leaves in 2025?
Yeah, so his contract will be done in 2025, and he seems to be hinting that he'll be leaving at that time. You see, and I tweeted that if Manchester City gets the taste of the Champions League, like the way they've gotten the taste of the Premier League, and they sink their claws into it like that, is going to be a very difficult time for Manchester United fans, especially in Europe, because the kind of football City is playing, the staying power, the depth of the squad, these 3 things, the kind of football they are playing, so you may know what is coming, but can you stop it because of the sheer quality of the players? So it was said even on Game Plan here last weekend that Inter Milan versus Man City in the final was not going to be easy, but it was very likely that what will turn the game around was going to be a moment of quality of one of City's players, and that's exactly what we saw. So it is those moments that sometimes set you apart, because you see, the other thing is the Champions League, they say, is notoriously difficult to retain. Only a handful of sides have been able to do that, right? Real Madrid being one of them. But what do you require to do that? City, by this win, have broken a certain weakness or myth around the club, which is that they were nearly men, almost men. They got there and thereabouts, but never won. Now they have mastered the art of winning ugly, doing what is required rather than playing the beautiful football. And we know that one of the remedies they had this season was to bring in Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
He is the focal point. Even before the final, he did say that the reason why he was brought to Manchester City was to help them win the Champions League, because it changed the way they played. Now, in the next 2 seasons, if you look across the European football sphere, how many teams do you see able to, 1, stop the juggernaut that is Manchester City? Week in, week out, at the highest level. You are playing, wherever you are playing 2 or 3 competitions. Maybe you are playing your domestic league, cup, and then the Champions League. How many teams have the depth? And in that depth, how many of them have the quality, the bench, to say that we are substituting Phil Foden, what's his name? Kevin De Bruyne with Phil Foden. How many? Or Aymeric Laporte is not getting game time in a team like Manchester City. How many? So it is not out of the realms of whatever it is that Manchester City can do it. But of course, it's European football. It's notoriously difficult to do, and everybody is coming for them. People are going to spend time poring over the tapes and all that. But it is absolutely not impossible, particularly with Pep Guardiola at the helm.
Let me, before I get to Sicho to wrap it up and be finding out from him how come Inter Milan, maybe some felt Inter Milan could actually prevent City. But when Faisal Chipsa was here the last time, I was listening, game plan again. He made a point, which I agree with him. And that's one thing I like about Guardiola. In modern football, it's not you being, say, a left full back. It's what the coach can get you to play.
Exactly.
So what really matters is, I need someone to do a job for me. Once you can do the job, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. No static positions.
No static position anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why.
And that's one of the issues people have with Pep Guardiola's style over the years. That anymore you are in the Pep Guardiola team. He knows that yours is to do this well, but he's going to coach you to do something else so well, and everybody will think that, oh, you know how to do it. But immediately you leave Manchester City, you leave the system, and you go to another team.
You can't do it.
Because he's drilled the system, he's drilled the team to play a certain way to maximize the potentials. So people talk about John Stones, but can John Stones do it if he comes to Arsenal, if he goes to Chelsea, if he goes to Real Madrid, if he goes to Barcelona, if he goes to Bayern Munich? That's one of the.
Let me bring in.
It feeds into the point I was making earlier about the revolution that Pep Guardiola brought.
1 minute. Let me just let Sicho wrap this up for me. So Inter Milan, for those of us of the
against,
we're hoping that they will do something, but eventually, Sicho, they were blown away. What happened to Inter Milan?
That's not blowing away.
I don't think the right word is blown away.
Exactly.
I think that Inter were extremely competitive, and Inter made life very difficult for City. As a matter of fact, if you check the numbers to a certain level, Inter were unlucky to have not even had a goal because they created better goal scoring opportunities. And before the fixture, the commentary around the whole world, in Europe, in Asia, in South America, everywhere, was that City were going to blow Inter away. And I remember when the final was fresh, City had qualified, Inter had qualified. Many people did say there was going to probably be one of the most one-sided final we had ever seen. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm missing something. Am I not thinking right? Because I looked at the fixture, and as Gary said on Game Plan, we did say that the fixture was closer than many people thought. That is based on how City plays and based on how Inter plays. And it actually played out on the final. I think that, as again, we said on Game Plan, it was always going to come down to an individual moment where a player was going to take the opportunity. City didn't win the game necessarily by shifting Inter Milan tactically. It was just a slight moment of window of opening that we saw. The brilliance wasn't only about the goal from Rodri. The brilliance started from the pass from Akanji to Bernardo Silva. Because for a centre-back, the most sensible, in fact, I'm still thinking about that pass, and the most sensible pass for Akanji to have picked would have been to just play the ball to the right to John Stones, who was in a big space. But what he tried to do was to try and do a Kevin De Bruyne kind of pass, slip it through for Bernardo Silva, whose cross was blocked, and then Rodri followed up on it. So it was a close game. Inter had their moments, they didn't take it, had more moments actually than Man City. And in the end, you've got to say City maybe just deserved it based on the body of work that they've done in the last 3 years. Final, semi-final, and final again. I mean, they deserve the credit. And just to piggyback on some of the things we said, the reason why many people are jealous of City, or many fans are jealous of City, is that it's not possible to talk about all the successes of City and not some way, somehow, have it in the back of our minds that they have been once by UEFA, been said to have been cheating with finances, and the second time by Premier League, who have 115 charges against them. The point then is, when it went for the UEFA, with the UEFA case at the court, it wasn't because City were innocent. It was only because the issues UEFA had raised were time barred, which means time had elapsed for them to go back on those years to investigate those matters. For the Premier League, there are no time bars there, so they can go as far back as possible to investigate them. Premier League have since said that they have 115 charges against Man City. Now, for any club, it doesn't matter when it's Real Madrid or whatever, to do what City have done and to have these charges hang over their necks, it is impossible for rival fans not to look back on those matters and say that maybe they are winners because they are cheating. But believe me, the brand of football is not about cheating. It's about coaching.
Great, it's about coaching. Folks, it's time to hear from you now. You can join us on 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541 and then 055 1111 997. I'd love to hear from you and what your thoughts are. Thank you, Gary and Sicho. They've been telling us about, it says it's down to coaching. It's not about cheating. It's down to coaching. It's the man, Pep Guardiola. What are your own thoughts? And again, let's talk about the Ghana Premier League. So we're talking about two issues here, the Champions League and the Ghana Premier League. You can give us a call now on 0302 216 541 and then 055 1111 997. Kobe is at East Legon. Good morning, Kobe.
Good morning.
Kindly reduce the volume of your radio set and let's listen to it. Yeah.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes, I think it's better now.
So I think we are not being fair to Pep Guardiola. Everyone is talking of the players and all that. I think Pep has done a very, 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 very incredible job. You see, we should stop comparing him to Mourinho would have done this. Zidane came to meet a team that was already cooked. Let's not play around that. He came to meet that team. Even if we say could have won Champions League with, you understand? But this team has tenacity. They have proved against all odds that at the latter point in the final, they didn't play their beautiful game. They played to get the results. Do you understand? It's unfortunate that Pep says is leaving after 2 years. But if we had all waited to see him another 2 years, I think it would have been disastrous for the European football. So let's congratulate them. City has done a very good job. Pep deserves all the accolades he's getting, and I think they'll go far with their team in future.
Thank you very much, Kobe. Let's go to Suhweni. Ni, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Ni.
Please forget about Manchester City. Manchester United did it in 1999. Accra Hearts did it in 2000. We won the treble. Pep Guardiola cannot compare himself with the such ratio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Ni, for joining us.
Simple.
Yeah, we get to Kukwasi now.
Move.
And Bright, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Bright.
All right. I think I agree with the last panelist, that is Sicho. I get the name right.
Yes, Sicho.
Yes, you see, it's all bound to coach as well, as you said. I mean, there will be all these struggles or problems on the way, but if the coaches has his own philosophy or his style and he stick to it and he knows what he's doing, no matter how things look like, he knows what he's doing and he sticks to it. In fact, one thing that he has.
Bright, if you could kindly reposition yourself, we can hardly hear you. Bright, you may have to call us again. Sorry about that. Let's go to South La. Chidiak, good morning.
Good morning, Wilson. Please, should I ask this question? Why is competition being played? The best team wins. They have won. They are the best. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chidiak from South La.
Our callers today are being very, very, very nice.
Nana Kweku is in Kumasi. Nana Kweku, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Nana Kweku.
Well, I'll talk about my local league.
Please
the
go
local
ahead.
league. We no longer have the coach. Back in the days, when it comes to Kumasi, we had these teams, Corners, and then Young Kotoko. And then even when you go to Accra, we have all these teams. The local league is going down. And I wonder why someone wants to be a president again. I don't understand it. I can't fathom why that man wants to be a president. Where our local league is just collapsing. Where teams have now become Torneton. I don't understand it. Because we want the league to be, back in the days, we used to go to Moses Sports Stadium, and even we have Cornerstone versus Kotoko, the stadium will be full. Right now, even Accra has the folk playing Kotoko, they'll be begging for people to attend to the sports stadium. Why?
To fill our survey.
To fill our stadium. Why? And please, we want our league to come back. So at least, even if we wouldn't go to anywhere on Sunday, at least after the Mutu, we want to go sit at the sports stadium and enjoy our leagues, please. And then this person going to the World Cup, you say the one that won the league, how much was he given?
26,000.
Dollars.
And someone went there, and then even the ball boy, someone would just carry. I mean, what is the name given to him?
Equipment manager.
Equipment manager.
Kitman.
A hitman went there and they had how much? $100,000.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Thank you very much for listening to us on Love 99.5 FM. Please feel, Asebi.
The link is bit. So put this in your address bar, bit.ly/GPL questionnaire. And we need people like you to just fill the questionnaire for us. We finish, we'll go and give it to the GFA and the sports ministry, and then we chase it up. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go to Ashale Botri. Desmond, good morning.
Good morning. Winston, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm also fine. Regards to all the great guys in the studio.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I'm yet to hear anybody question whether Guardiola has ever taken a difficult job. Has he ever taken a difficult job? No.
What's your definition of a difficult job? Then we can go from there.
Okay, so Alex Ferguson took Manchester from very difficult situation. Mourinho did a great job with Chelsea. Arsene Wenger, they said Arsene who? The British media. That is not to say that Guardiola is not a good coach. He's a very good coach. No two ways about that. Part of the jealousy comes from the fact that when Chelsea were during the Mourinho days, people were jealous. Me, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm jealous. I won't lie about that.
I like the honesty. Winston is jealous too.
Yeah, but the point is that when do you remember when Chelsea was spending? But everybody forgot that Mourinho had won the UEFA Cup and won the Champions League and broke the record of 95 points. And all of a sudden, Mourinho is a bad coach. I'm a Mourinho fan.
All right.
Mourinho is the greatest. He took Roma from nowhere. See Roma now. Mourinho has taken the most difficult job. Like I said earlier on, that's not to say that Guardiola is not a good coach. He's a great coach. No tweet about that.
But what's his name?
Desmond.
Desmond, the way the things are going there, we have to let Pep Guardiola come and take King Faisal and go and win UEFA Champions League before we will all be satisfied, though. Because the way...
you see, Desmond, the whole thing about the difficult job also is that...
So let me go to William
and then we come
when we finish, then you get a chance to react. William, good morning.
Good morning. I think I have a problem with the people who go like, if Pep is a good coach, he should go and take a look. We are forgetting that Ranieri did it with Leicester. He might not win the Champions League if he went to took a lower team, but you definitely see Pep's footprints and his signature on the team. Let's not forget that his style of play from Barcelona to Bayern Munich and now to City, you can see his signature. The second thing is also that, just like one of your panelists said, he's able to take a good player and put him in different places on the pitch and still get results. I think this guy used to do that, Alex Ferguson. You remember those days when a player leaves Ferguson's team and he goes anywhere, he doesn't excel, and you think he's a bad player. No, where is Anderson after he left Man United? Nobody knows him. Nobody heard about him, but he was a very outstanding player under Ferguson. So let's give the man some due. I think he's done a very good job that we can all talk about in the future. At least in our generation, he's one of the best we have seen so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, William. We go to Testano where Freddie is, and we are last caller. Freddie, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Moa.
Yes,
I want to come home. My issue has to do Ghana, local GPL. My issue has to do with officiating. The officiating is very, 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 very bad. You go to a stadium, I mean, something very basic to football, and referees are getting it wrong. Linesmen are getting it wrong. How do we improve upon our officiating? Because it's so disheartening. You go to stadium and you see this. The next time, the decision is that let me even stay home and watch something on DSTV. So if they can improve upon the officiating locally,
okay,
and also the amount they give them, $26,000, I think is woefully inadequate. If Accra Great Olympics is to move to Tamale 4 times in a year, how much will it cost them in terms of fuel alone and allowances? I mean, the funding is so, they should look for more sponsorship to improve our league for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Freddie in Tessana, who will be our last caller. Folks, we need to be going. 30 seconds each. Thank you.
Well, I think Pep Guardiola is definitely in the conversation for being the greatest manager of all time. He has the second biggest number or largest number of Champions League titles in the history of the competition with 3, only second behind Carlo Ancelotti. He's won the Premier League at a faster rate than any other manager in the history of the competition. He's equaled Sir Alex Ferguson 3 times in a row winning the Premier League, and his treble winning record in England. On top of that, Pep Guardiola is the only manager in the history of football to do the treble with 2 different clubs. It's never happened before. He did it with Barcelona in 2011, and he did it with Manchester City in 2023. On top of that, Pep Guardiola is the only manager who has coached teams in years where the World Cup winning players have come from his team, majority of them. In 2010, 7 of the starting players for Spain that won the World Cup were Pep Guardiola players from his team in Barcelona. In 2014, 4 of the German players that won the World Cup came from a Pep Guardiola team. That's how revolutionary Pep Guardiola has become. His influence, I'm saying his influence on the players